Hi everyone, we are back with our roundtable. I know it's been a long time, and I know I said it wasn't going to be a long time, but it's a long time. Anyways, we're back. No point in staying there. We are here with one of my friends, my good sis, Shariah. It's
Oh,
lit. It's lit. It's lit. It's lit. But Shariah, would you like to introduce yourself before we get into the questions?
yes. Hello, everybody. Like she said, my name is Shariah. I am a recent graduate of Clark Atlanta University. Graduated, period. Big alumnus. But
Big
yeah,
alumnus status.
big alumnus status. But yes, I graduated with my BA in political science with a double minor in criminal justice and Spanish. During my gap year, yes, I'm taking a gap year. I'm working as a legal assistant at Davis Bozeman Law Firm here in Georgia, and I'm ready to get started. Get raw.
Like, do y'all hear all that stuff she had? Like, over here, we just got our BA in psychology. We're just going to move on. My sis, she speaks Spanish. She bilingual.
Ooh, period. Period.
My sis is bilingual. So we're going to start with the questions. First question, first things first. What is something that's been you for as long as you can remember?
Something that's been me. Are you saying like in a sense of like my personality traits or things that people might have known me as, or what do you mean by what's been
Yes.
me?
Yes, like that. Like if somebody was to like describe you, like what's something that's been you that has defined Shariah for like for as long as you can remember.
Um, Honestly, probably the girl that just like is a square that just like loves Jesus and doesn't do anything wrong. Stuff like that. Like that's probably the most accurate.
I feel you. No, I really feel you.
And I'm tired of it. Stop.
Like I'm about that life.
Right.
I may not be about that life, but I'm about that life.
Man, yeah.
With this one, would you say like you're like a shy person, or rather you've been shy? Because I know that you're to yourself a little bit, but have you always been like that, or have you feel like that's like an inclined trait about you?
I would say it's definitely inclined. Like I used to be that person. I would say even still, I will talk to anybody. I don't mind to talk to people, but I am more reserved now than I have been in
Okay,
the past.
it makes sense. Sometimes people just make you just be yourself.
Mhm.
Cause I feel you. Next question. What do you love about you?
Whew, that should not be a hard question to answer, but it makes me think. Like it really does. What do I love about myself? Um, I think my favorite thing about myself is my determination. Like I just feel as though anything you want to do with enough preparation, enough like educating yourself, like you can do it. And so anything I want, I'm gonna go after it. And I believe that I'll be able to do it in a sense, in the most humble way though. It's not like a cocky, like I can do whatever I want to do, like no.
Yeah,
But
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, like I'm just really determined.
That's good. Any other traits? Anything that, because
I'm
I feel like over time, for me personally, it's like I've had to learn things I love about myself through other people. Like other things that people say about me, I'm like, okay, I didn't recognize like I do that, but like, okay, I guess that's a good side of me. It's easy for me to say things like, I love that I'm nice to people, but like when I see that other people see something, I'm like, okay, well maybe that is something about me.
right.
Like,
Now that you say that, I would say like being graduated, being a former athlete, it's like you always have your day planned out. Like you have class, you have practice, all that
mm-hmm.
stuff. But I've had a lot of free time. And so I've been really I'm learning how to sew. I've been painting a lot and stuff like that. And so I would say I'm pretty creative apparently. Like I didn't know this until I started like showing people what I work on, what I've been doing. And so yeah, I'm learning that I'm pretty creative, you know.
Ooh, my sis be painting. I did one sip and paint party,
Ooh,
and I said I was gonna start painting after that, and I've been painting since.
girl,
But
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Like,
I just gotta do it. I'm just gonna go get canvases and paint and like sit it in front of something like where I have to see it all the time, and then I think that's gonna make me do it.
no, it really will, because I'm literally sitting here like looking at these canvases that I haven't touched it again. So it'll really help.
It'll make you paint. That's like, that's good that it's brought out like another side of you having free time, and free time will really do that to you.
Yes.
Post grad.
Man.
You like, okay, what's next? When you don't really know what's next, you like, you're still trying to figure it out, but like it teaches you still so much about yourself.
Right, like even
that's
in
why
being,
we love,
yeah. Huh?
We love the 20-somethings because the 20-somethings teach you something.
These are something for real. Like
something. Something.
Some things,
no,
man.
For real. So the next question, which I feel like you said, you feel like it was a hard question to answer. What do you love about yourself? So what is a hard thing you've had to try to accept about yourself? And even if you want to go into depth or something that you recognize that you do or you maybe don't like, that you're working to like better and improve at.
Ooh, not self-reflection. I would say something that I'm really learning about myself that I'm working towards fixing is, I would say, like, I'm very focused like on myself. And so, like, for example, say that I can make you feel some type of way. Like, I'm focused on how you make me feel, which made me like make you feel a type of way. Like, that's not okay. And so I think I'm really just learning how I make people feel and what that means as far as like how they might even perceive Christ. Like, if I'm supposed to be this person that exudes like love, patience, peace, like kindness, and I'm not being this like towards other people, it's just like, what's wrong with you? Like, Jesus is not all up in that. Yeah, and so just being more self-aware and like how other like people may feel based off of like how I treated them. And so just like taking responsibility like for myself and my actions. And so I think that's probably like been the overcast of like what I really like learned about myself that might need to change a little bit. So
you got me thinking about myself because
man,
that's a me trait too, and I didn't recognize that. I can be selfish at times, and I think we talk about it all the time why I'm single, but I really I've lived in a world of me for so long that thinking about doing something for somebody else and like taking in consideration of what someone else thinks is like, why?
What?
It's like, why sometimes?
Right, yeah.
But then again, it's like we can't preach about this Jesus and not be like him.
Because at the end of the day, like, the main people we need to be telling about Jesus are those who don't know. And so if like they don't even read the Bible, they don't even go to church. And so the only interaction they might have with those things is their relationship with you. And so it's just like, I don't see the connection like with Jesus and you. Like, why do I even want to get to know? If he's like you, I don't want to get to know him, period. So it's just like,
exactly. Yeah. You might be the first Jesus. Somebody meets.
Man, you might be the, I heard this quote, like it said, you might be the only Bible someone reads. And they might not like my book, so I got to get myself together.
Like, what's in her Bible?
Right.
That's
like,
not cute. We don't like that. We don't like that. I literally, and I had just read that. I remember you saying that in a voice message to me, and I'm like, dang. And then I also just finished reading Kiera Sheard's book. It was like a pretty short book, but it was like really good. And that's what she said. She was like if somebody meets you, will they be meeting Jesus? And it's like, on a good day.
On a good day. When they're nice to me today.
They might be meeting Jesus on a good day, but
like, man,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Catch me on Sunday though, right after service. Got you.
Yeah, I might be refueled, energized. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be ready to share the gospel.
Okay.
But you catch me at the end of the week before my refueling,
Before, like, no.
it's
When I'm
not gonna
hungry,
be good.
oh Lord, no.
It's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good.
That's, but I mean, that's good. That's good that you want to work on, right? Turning from selfishness to selflessness.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, quick question. It's a little detour, but I know you're like the hostess and you ask questions. Are we allowed to like reverse the question to you and ask you the same thing?
Girl, by all means. By all means. So for me, I think a hard thing to accept about me is I have a list actually.
Okay.
But no, I think one of the hardest things to accept about me is I like to have control. And it's like I try to work my way around it and say I'm not really like, I don't like to control. I'm like, why would I control someone else? Like, I'm my own person. But if things aren't going the way I want them to go, I'm like, okay, I'm about to just remove myself. When really I should learn to work around it.
Yeah, like, can I change my answer because you just reminded me, like,
Exactly. It's just so
yes.
hard to like just let people be. But it's like they're out here letting you be you, so why not let them be them?
Keyana, this has been a great meeting. I don't think I'm ready. So, wow, but no, that's so
I
real.
hear this. But
So
it's
real.
like it's too hard. It's even like come to the point like I think I've told you, like even talking like to guys and stuff, sometimes I'm like, okay, he's not the ideal first meet that I have in mind, so I'm just going to not talk to him.
Girl,
And it's like it closed my mind out. Like, you know, they
yes,
talk about the narrow path, the path is
mhm,
very narrow. Like that's how my
girl,
options have become. It's very narrow. Like you can't get in. Like you cannot get in. So I
man,
think I just have to give grace more. Like I have grace, so I need to give other people grace. Like I have no other choice. I have to give other people grace. But it's something I'm learning to do. So I'm not good at it, but I'm working at it. I'm definitely
yeah,
working at
I would
it.
say even to add to that, acceptance is also important in that, like, being in a relationship, like, it's hard. Like, whenever you're not the same person, it's like everything could be like, oh my gosh, like, why don't you just do this way? Or why don't you just think about this way? But, like, I think acceptance is like the biggest key, like, because my boyfriend, like, he accepts every part of me. Like, you would think that, like,
Man.
I could just like do no wrong in his eyes. But then like he has like the one smallest thing. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, no,
Rewind. Let's take this
rewind,
back.
run that back. Like, no, but yeah, like not wanting to be in control and being able to like submit your ideas of what you think other people should be, like that's huge. So
Because just as
yeah.
much as you think your input matters, they have something just as great to say, something that makes them them, and something that, like, I would say attracted you to them in the first place.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for
it's
sure.
like, you don't think about that once you're in it. You're like, okay, now that I have you in my hands, let me just mold you.
Let me just mold you. Yes, that's so terrible. Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Wow. We be trying to take guy job. We be trying to be the potter.
Okay. Okay. Like, I'm gonna let you finish. Let me just tweak it real quick. Like, what?
Right.
No.
Be like, God, you done with me? He like, I'm not even done with you. How you gonna go mold somebody else if I'm not even done molding you? I'm
Talk
like,
about it.
okay.
Talk about it. That is
Okay.
so true.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's me. I have a control issue.
That's real. And I
I have a
understand.
control issue. I have a control issue. So the next question: what is a misconstrued view of you that you could elaborate on? So I would kind of say like a misconception, something that people may take wrong, but you mean in good intentions.
Ooh. I'm glad
Ooh.
that you specified. Something that I do with good intention. Wow, you're really making me think. I can't help but keep thinking back to like my relationships. So sorry if I talk about my man a lot. But like this, he's probably
Period. She takes pride. My sis takes pride.
man, take pride in my
And
man.
I
But
feel like
like relationships,
it's easier to talk about what you're in and like what you're experiencing. Like you don't gotta reach back to 2006. Like
yeah.
you can literally like be in the now with it. So
No, for real. Yeah. Yeah. Relationships definitely help you reflect on like who you really are. So um I would say a misconception. I've heard that I am sensitive a lot, a lot, a lot. And I feel as though society views sensitivity as this negative thing, but um, I don't see it that way. Like, I think being able to be sensitive, yes, that means like whenever someone does something, like, yeah, your actions can impact me, but also I'm able to be like sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Like, you were telling me how in one of your Raw roundtables that Aisha had said, like,
yeah.
how like people had called her sensitive in the past. And although that could be like a negative connotation, it also speaks to how you can be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. And so, like, sensitivity is not always a bad thing. Like, I'm just able to feel things in a deeper way. I feel like there's power in that, honestly. And so, yeah, like sensitivity and just being able to like understand things on a level, like the way in which I study the Bible, because I might be sensitive, I'm able to like go deeper in the word and like understand things in a different way. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times the same people who call me sensitive, they also applaud how deep I go into detail about things or how deep I understand things. And so it's just like, I thought I was sensitive though. Like, no, like it's not a
Because
bad thing.
if
So
y'all
yeah,
don't
I
have
would
Shariah on
say
Instagram, Shariah actually goes very into
no,
detail. She
ma'am.
be teaching me. She be teaching me. I get on Instagram to learn from Shariah because Shariah, one thing she's gonna do is her research, and she's gonna give you an answer that makes sense, why it makes sense. And if you ask her, she probably will have the reference on page too. On the side. She might have reference page on the
My
side.
goodness.
But I love that you bring up sensitivity too, because I mean sensitivity can even be like sensing emotions like from other people, like feeling when things are off. Like if you're not sensitive, like things in relationships can just be blown over because nobody's really recognizing it's like, oh, that was something small, it's whatever. But having that sensitivity in any kind of relationship, friendship can help you be aware like of things. Like I remember you calling me in the dorm room sometimes, you're like, sometimes I just want people to like come over, or you can always like come over and be over, like whether you
Oh
knew it or not.
yeah.
Like I would have stayed in my room, like just chilling, but having that push to like go out and do something else, like it was purposeful that you were sensitive to that moment to invite me over to do things like that, because otherwise I wouldn't have. So it's like
Mhm.
sensitivity is recommended. If you don't have it, sorry.
Yes. Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
I apologize.
Man.
All right. It's the last question,
Bruh.
and then the next one is like a sentence. So, if you had to introduce yourself to an audience, what would your biography slash intro entail?
Oh. So am I just like telling the audience? Oh, obviously. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, you can
What would
speak.
it
You can
entail?
speak like that. Make it fun. Just I want to introduce to you guys, Shariah. Um, tell us about her.
I mean, it's it would definitely include like my introduction that I did at the beginning of this video, like just letting you know who I am and what I do. Um, Aside from that, I would let you know that I am super corny. If you ever need to laugh at something dumb, I got you. I'm probably the most corny person you'll ever meet. I don't know, like I wouldn't introduce myself to an audience like just my deepest, darkest secrets. But basically, if you know who I am, I'm from Oklahoma. If you've never met someone from Oklahoma, you can say that you did today when you watch this video. But aside from that, like I don't really know what else I would include to an audience full of
No,
strangers.
girl. We gonna add to it. I want to introduce to you guys Shariah, my friend, my good sis, who is determined. My sis is determined. I don't know if y'all heard that at the beginning. And she has this level of sensitivity that is like through the roof. You would think it's a bad thing, but just wait. Just wait until she hits that just soft spot that you never thought could reach inside of you. Then you're gonna know the benefits of her sensitivity. And not to mention, she is just an amazing friend and an amazing person. And I love her so much.
I love you too.
Period. That's how you introduce yourself.
Noted.
Yes, but I like how you said what you said in the beginning, because that's something that I often forget. Like, people all the time, like, I'll go places and people be like, she graduated from Spelman College, but that's not the first thing I tell somebody about myself. I just be like, yeah, I'm 19. I go to school, but I definitely say, like, put everything in there, because I feel like how you show up as you, like, gives people the level of respect they should have for you. Not saying like you're high and mighty, but like just how to treat you and respect you. Because how you see you is how they gonna see you.
No, that's really good though, because if you think about it, like if you think about it, like whenever you call someone, like say that they're a doctor, like they have their doctorate, and so you call them Mr. or Mrs. They're like, oh no, I'm a doctor. Like, but you know that they garnish like they deserve that because they put in that work, and so you better like come at them correctly. And so I understand what you're saying, and that's real. Like that's really good. So yeah, let me work on my little introduction, and I'm gonna be ready next time.
No, girl, it takes time, because I didn't recognize that until like even things like having people walk all over you and like stuff. Like I used to recognize, I had to look at my language, because I used to always say things like, "Oh, it doesn't matter to me." Like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. And then so like when things change and I didn't want to be that person anymore, when I started saying like, "No, I don't want to do this," I seemed like rude, like I said, but it's just like I became more intentional about what I was saying, how I was saying it. Because I'm like, okay, I really don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to come home and I'm going to regret the whole night, because I didn't even want to do that in real life. So,
yeah,
definitely changing the narrative. So, for the last one, it's a sentence to anybody watching who may have, I'm not going to say have an issue embracing themselves, but maybe just needs to dig a little deeper. The sentence is, to the one learning to embrace them, ... And you can finish the sentence.
Someone learning to embrace them. Accept what you've learned and keep going. I think for me in this season of life, it's hard. Like, okay, so I just heard this sermon, and the pastor was talking about how, like, yeah, we all have these standards in which God sets for us. So whenever we fall short, we sin. But then you have like a line that you've already created. And so whenever you go past the line in which you created, like for me, like it creates like a whole bunch of like shame and disappointment within myself. Like, dang, like not only have I failed God, but I've like failed myself. And I will like literally beat myself up about that so much. But I learned that like my obedience, it doesn't make me more or less worthy to God. Like if that was the case, I wouldn't need Jesus. If it were by my works, I would be saved. And so I remember talking to you about this, Kiana, but like if we were never going to get sick, we wouldn't need a doctor. If we were never going to law, we wouldn't need lawyers, and so on and so forth. And so we were never going to mess up. We wouldn't need Jesus. And so I think in this season, I'm just learning to accept where I might fall short, accept what I'm not yet, and to keep going, because a lot of times our past can really just kind of like stop us from moving forward. But how are you going to get past that if you just stop? Like, how are you going to get through the storm if you just stop? So I would just say, accept what you've done, and all you can do is do better in the future. So do that. Like, keep going. And yeah, that's my advice.
Girl, you are preaching to the choir. Wow.
Nah.
If we were never gonna mess up, we wouldn't need Jesus. That's gonna be my gym today at the gym.
We wouldn't.
That's what I'm gonna meditate on at the gym. Because that was just like, whoa.
Right.
But I want to personally thank you for taking this time in this moment to share, to be ready and willing. And most people aren't. Most people are afraid. Nervousness is normal, but to be afraid and not do it versus to just be afraid and do it anyways. I feel like that makes a big difference in where we go in life and what we do in life, because everything's going to be scary for the first time, but you did it. You did it.
Yeah, no, and you really inspire me, because like, you are so ready and willing. Like, you literally, like, unapologetically, you talk about God like on your page, and you literally up, like, that is more of a testament than anything that you could ever do. Like, just you being willing and like ready, like you said, it just gives me confidence that, you know what, I can do that too. Like, I can start my business, or I can start to do this. I can be unapologetic in this because of your faithfulness. So I just wanted to publicly thank you for your obedience to the Lord.
Don't make me cry over here. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. Emotional wall. Sometimes that emotional wall. But no, I do. I appreciate that. We're gonna get this together. But yes, that's a plug too, y'all. My sis has a clothing brand coming out. Unapologetically me, period. Because she's unapologetically her. And when it comes out, you guys will know, because it will be on the Instagram page and it will be everywhere. We'll be broadcasting it. I'll be wearing it on here. So
not broadcasting, but
today we are wearing
right.
We're gonna brand our friends all 2021 and for the rest of our lives. Hey, I personally want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in to this week's episode of Raw Roundtable, and all the ones to come after. You are what keeps me going, what keeps this content coming. I love you, and if you're liking what you see, don't hesitate. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can turn on post notifications to make sure you're the first to get notified every time I post a new video and every time a new episode comes out of a new segment, and you would want to be first. So I just want to say thank you. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week.